Yeah.
What's that, 15?
15 years of Infest. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yay!
Yeah.
So, okay, I was talking to her earlier. I know you guys hate Wikipedia. Everybody hates Wikipedia. I had read, originally, you took over for a trombonist.
Yeah.
There you have it.
Doesn't generally like to talk about that, but
Oh, okay.
very early on,
For the name.
they didn't have a guitar player.
Well, then I guess the trombonist is the next best step. Right?
Yeah, he was one of their really good friends, and it was really just for fun at that point. And I had seen them play at a friend's house, and when he called me up to ask me to play guitar for them, I said, I don't think it's gonna work out, because I was into metal, and obviously without a guitar player, they were nowhere near that. So, but he pestered me over and over, and I finally said, okay, I'll come over.
We got this. So, okay. Did you ever hear it with him now? Hear him play with it? I'm just curious as to what it all kind of sounded like before they actually went.
Oh yeah, I saw them play, and it was wacky. They actually they did a cover of "Fire" by Jimi Hendrix, and with no guitar player, it was creative.
Yeah, I read that too. I thought that was pretty interesting. And then we got the new CD. We really liked it. We actually work in a porn store, and we were listening there earlier. So
all right,
people that like porn like you guys.
Hey.
No. And then
what can you share with us about the recording process? Maybe one or two tracks in particular. Can you tell me what the mindset? Because I know you guys recorded this one a little bit differently.
Yeah, we didn't have anything going into the recording of the record, which was really unnerving for me and for Jacoby. Tobin said, "We got this," and we did, but it took about a week to really adapt to the process, and once we started in on it was Broken As Me was the first song that we finished, and once we got that, Kevin Churko worked it up, like he mixed it basically as we recorded it, and once we heard everything put together, it was just everybody just looked at each other and said, okay, yeah, we got this.
How much do you usually go in with? Like, this time it was like clean slate. Obviously, you didn't have anything, to go off of. But how much do you usually take in, when you start the actual process?
In the past, we've gone in with, 15, 16 ideas, and then, try and go in with at least 8 or 9 finished songs. So yeah, this time not so much.
now this is the one that was, you said it was in the shopping mall?
Yeah, it was like a
story.
It was a little strip mall.
You guys just took it over.
It was on the backside of a restaurant. The studio was, and it wasn't actually in the restaurant. It was just in the same building, attached to it. And at first, when we went, we arrived there outside. We couldn't find it for a little bit because it was kind of hidden. It is known as the hideout. So,
well, that makes sense.
Yeah, but
like a speakeasy.
Yeah, as soon as we walked in, we realized it was fully decked out. It was a fully functioning, really nicely equipped studio, and as soon as we got in there, we thought, oh, all right. But while we were sitting outside, we're going, are we really doing this? We're really recording in a strip mall? But
next to like T-Mobile and like Cinnabon on the other side.
Yeah, it was weird, but when we got in there, it was just like, oh, all right, we're good.
It was in Vegas, right?
Yeah.
So how much does the place where you record actually have a little bit of character? Like, what does that bring? Does that ever bring anything into the creative process?
The being in Vegas did bring something to the process. It wasn't the strip Vegas that worked its way in. It was more of the desert Vegas. you know, there were a couple of songs where we kind of went back to the feeling of, you know, driving through the desert, which we had been doing, but, you know, kind of imagine driving on, you know, the lonely desert road, and songs like Gravity and the Devil, those came from that kind of feeling. So.
And you guys like all live, like specifically live, like when you guys normally record, do you go to the studio and then y'all go home at night, or do you normally go? Because that's what I read was that you guys all live together, like kind of the strip mall, like at this. Yeah. I know you guys tour together. Yeah. But when you record, do you normally, you know, go to the studio, then everybody goes home to their houses, and then come back the next day?
We've done it all, pretty much. This time we lived in a house together. Mm-hmm. You know, it wasn't near the strip. It was kind of way off. But we've done it to where we, like when we did The Connection, we would go to the studio, work, and then go home. This time, you know, we all lived together, and we would work all week and then go home during the weekend. We'd fly home. So, yeah, it was different, but it was good because we had, you know, creativity going all the time, 24 hours a day. If somebody had an idea at 1 o'clock in the morning, we could, you know, bounce it off each other, and if we wanted to work on it, then we would just work on it because we had a little studio set up in the house.
That's your heart. That's my sleepy time. 1 o'clock, like, I don't care much. We'll talk about it in the morning.
Yeah, but that's the thing, is that if we don't talk about it, the idea gets lost, and then we lose it forever. And you know, we tend to really just try and take advantage of the opportunities when they present themselves, and you know, just work things out as they come, because if you don't, it's gone.
Well, that's why I'm not a famous musician. That's why we just do this and work in an adult toy store during the day. That's our normal job. But so, while you guys were out there, did you get the experience of Las Vegas though? Did you get to go out and do the strip stuff and gamble and see the showgirls? And
we've kind of been there, done that.
I'm such a boring life. So.
I mean, you know, we did go out a couple times, mostly just to see shows. You know, one we saw Queens of the Stone Age at the Joint, which was nice. It was a super amazing show. And then I know the other guys went to see what is it called, the Blue Man Group, which they said it was amazing.
Things those guys turn into instruments is incredible. Yeah. So I love the album title is an acronym for, like, you know, Face Everything and Rising. I think that fits so much with, you know, fans could take so much, but also as a band, what does that mean to you as a band and where you guys have come up until now in your career?
Yeah, well, you know, it kind of, for the most part, falls in line with a lot of the themes that Jacoby's sung about in the past. Mm-hmm. And it's really just taking a negative and turning it into a positive. And, you know, as a group, we don't really have any sort of fears as far as that's concerned. We're, you know, very driven, and we're never really content. You know, we're delighted when great things happen, but we're never content in that we don't just sit around and say, oh, this is cool, we're good with this. You know, we're always kind of driven to do something else or something better, something bigger. But you know, as people, you know, obviously we have fears that kind of keep us from doing things, and that's kind of the goal and the objective, is to not only get past our own fears, but, you know, just to put it out there that you know, if you have something that's kind of stopping you from doing what you want, chances are, if you just get past it, you know, things are going to be good on the other side. So.
Absolutely. I mean, Renee was bringing up with me earlier, like, a lot of your interaction with fans through YouTube, a lot of your announcements are made via social media.
I was doing my research, and I noticed, do you tend to do more of the interviews versus the other guys? Or you guys do like an equal amount? Or you
I
have like
would
a lot
say-
of quotes. Like,
I would say a lot of Jacoby does a lot of the stuff. I'm the second in line to him as far as interviews go, and the other guys just kind of they on one side they kind of pick up what's left, and on the other side they kind of try and hide a little bit. They kind of lay in the back and say, "Yeah, you should do that. You should do that." But we're all pretty active on our social media, and we have fun interacting with the fans. And, you know, sometimes you get the dumb questions, and sometimes you get
those
good
are fun
ones.
for me. Hers are the good ones. She has all the good ones. I want to know if like,
No,
you go
I
out
mean,
and gamble.
I'm talking about like what's your favorite color? And,
Oh yeah.
I don't have one. See, now I said I'm doing my research, you know, and I actually saw a picture of your living room.
okay.
And I thought it was I went on your blog and I saw where, after like all these years of doing this was my big question was, have you gotten to the point where it's like a normal thing to see a picture of your living room, like in somebody's article, or to see somebody write about the color? Is there any point in time where that's gotten normal? Because for me, that would just weird me out. Like, I'd be like, why is my living room? You know, is there any...
Well, you know, on some level, I was the one that actually took that picture and,
well, I figured,
and
yeah.
put it out for the
Wrote
article.
in, like...
But, you know, on some level, I do try and keep kind of my personal life separate, you know.
Well, I thought it was pretty, so...
Oh, thank you. But yeah, I mean, you know, doing what we do is just kind of something that you kind of get used to.
How has the uprise of social media, though? I mean, I look at changes in the music industry, and I think social media has been one of the biggest ones with the way that artists are able to promote. And, you know, it gets flooded sometimes, but at the same time, it's that instantaneous interaction with fans. What kind of effect has that had on the way that you guys approach that now?
Well, as far as like the recording process, you know, it doesn't really change a lot. You know, sometimes we'll have somebody with us kind of doing updates, you know, photos and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
We never really do video just because we don't want the audio getting out there, but
That could be dangerous, right?
Yeah. we do like to you know, let people know what's going on, but at the same time we really just try and focus on, you know, the important stuff, and once we're out on tour, you know, it's pretty much, you know, a lot of downtime is taken up by interaction. But yeah, I mean, as far as like bands getting exposure and that kind of stuff, you know, I wouldn't say it's the same as it used to be, just because, you know, back then it was very localized and regional and that kind of stuff. But it's kind of a double-edged sword because, you know, there's a lot of access.
Absolutely.
But at the same time, being that there's a lot of access means that there's a flood of information and music, and, you know, a lot of people, and then a lot of people have to kind of wade through the great stuff and the not so great stuff. So, you know, I think that a lot of it comes down to word of mouth, and, you know, if people find something great and they share it and that kind of stuff. Really, just bands just need to hustle and get their stuff out there as much as they can. I think for the young bands, I think it's important to play shows and connect with people on a personal level. Just because
it's so very memorable to fans too.
It's an experience, you know. It's not just information flowing back and forth over the internet. You know, it's an actual, tangible experience, and I think that has had a large part in, you know, keeping our band going.
Absolutely. So if you had to list one thing that was misunderstood or misconstrued about Papa Roach, is there something people tend to get wrong all the time?
Misconstrued, I guess it would probably be, you know, that, I mean, I've heard that some people say that we're, you know, rock stars and like, we don't hang out, we don't talk to our fans or anything like that, you know. But it's like, you know, sometimes we're busy, sometimes we're, like Tobin right now is sick, so he's not going to be hanging out. So, you know, it's just that kind of stuff. And then, you know, on the other side of it, you know, a lot of people are stuck on Infest, you know, and they still call us new metal or rock or whatever, you know. But we moved on from that, you know, or changed it up.
If you had to, because that's what I kept saying with like the different genres, and I know like the progression and everything like that. If you had to, like, just put one solid label on what you're doing, what would it be? Like, what genre?
It would just be rock, you know, because there's so many different subgenres within our music.
Mm-hmm.
I hate when an artist has to feel boxed into one thing and then you're not allowed to experiment with anything. They're like, how dare they put that type of sound in there? It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, there are only a few bands that can really get away with doing the same thing over and over, you know. It's like AC/DC or, you know.
Well, I love that you guys have never made the same album twice. Like, it's, you know, it's always a little bit of a different flavor to it because, you know, creatively it would have to get very stale, I would think, to go in and start making the same music like over and over and over again.
Yeah, and we feel like it would get boring for our fans too, you know.
Yeah.
And it's like, you know, we do get some people that say, well, why don't you make another record like Infest? And we say, well, if you want to hear a record like Infest, go listen to Infest.
How hard is it to make a set list for you guys every night?
We kind of just have to go, we kind of have to pick some songs and go with it for a tour because we have so many. I mean, really, it comes down to we have to mostly play the songs that most people want to hear. And then, you know, in doing that, we try and at least change some things about those songs to keep it fresh for ourselves. And to make it, you know, a little bit more of an experience than just listening to the album. And then we pick some songs that we want to play, depending on how long of a set list we have. Like this tour we have 65 minutes, so we can't do a lot. But we're playing some I wouldn't say non-hits, but, you know, cult classics and that kind of stuff. So.
Nice. I always love hearing those little like B-sides sneak into the song. It's awesome. We'll give you a question about the acoustic album too.
Yeah, that's she's like, I lost it all. I'm just going back and coffee today. But no, that's what we had seen that the acoustic album at one point in time had gotten shelved. Do you think that you'll ever decide to fully release it, or?
Well, we haven't actually recorded it.
Oh, okay.
That was an idea that Jacoby talked about quite a bit a few years ago, but yeah, I mean, you know, we're focused on, you know, we kind of went for this record, we wanted to go heavy a little bit, so, you know, maybe next record, or maybe, you know, we're actually talking about the possibility of recording something like that while we're on tour, and then releasing it kind of in between when we're doing a new record. So,
do you feel there's added pressure now, like, to kind of keep with steady releases, you know, or leaking just something out to fans, like along the way, you know, like you do an album and then they're already hungry for the next thing. It's like before, I mean, the album hasn't even dropped yet, and they're already like, "What's next, guys?"
There is some of that, but you know, we try and parse out information while we're on the cycle, but it's good to go away because, you know, like at this tour, we haven't really toured the U.S. fully in at least a year. So and you know, people are coming out. Like people got hungry to come see us play. You know, so it's good to go away for a little bit, I think.
Absolutely. I mean, you guys toured up at the festival circuit last summer too. Is there going to be some more of that this summer too?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Nice. Well, I want to thank you so much for taking a few minutes to speak with us today. I appreciate it. Is there any parting message you would like to share with our site visitors?
Face Everything and Rise comes out January 27th. Check it out and let us know what you think.
Awesome. Thank you.